businesses. I know that we have at least 20 businesses that are on with us this afternoon already. Thank you all so very much for tuning in again with us to have this wonderful platform and webinar called BIDFIT. As you may remember, BIDFIT is a webinar platform that's been developed amidst COVID to allow the Business and Inclusion and Diversity Program to continue to move forward and assist businesses that are in the midst of this pandemic. We continue to be very, very excited about those businesses, those of you that are working hard and diligently trying to stay amidst current and open in the midst of this pandemic. I am most excited, and the city of Miramar and the leadership continues on a daily basis to try to develop practices, services, grants, many of the things that we can do to be of assistance to small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses during this time. We do know that the SBA has concluded that the majority, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, will be lost and will not, and perhaps will close their doors and not reopen after this. But we continue to thrive, understanding that the industry also dictates and have demonstrated that in the midst of pandemics is when we have an influx, in fact, the majority of new business owners. And so that is why we continue with what we do. BIDFIT is another component of the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program, whereby we want to ensure that those entrepreneurs that are courageous enough to open businesses during this season, you know that the city of Miramar is definitely a resource, and we continue to offer programs and services to assist you as you grow and develop. I usually try to do the basic intro to allow others to sign on, but we do have a panel of experts today, so we don't want to waste too much time with the introduction, and we'll move ahead for those of you that cared enough to sign on time. As you know, I am Dr. Karen E. Hollis. I am the one that the city of Miramar has entrusted to assist in developing the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program. What is the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program? That's a program that we often refer to as BID. Now, let me give you a little background. BID, which is this program, was established in 2018 to effectively develop, administer, and implement the diversity study findings and recommendations. BID is evidence of the city of Miramar's leadership and their goal to amplify, diversify, and add more diversity and inclusion in their city projects. So how did we get here in terms of background? We have a community, and when the community went to the leadership to express that they wanted more inclusion, unlike other cities, the city of Miramar responded. They solicited and they went and got a diversity study done. The findings of the studies concluded that the city of Miramar can do a better job with more inclusion and diversity in their projects, and voila, the city responded again, and the leadership brought me on board, and we developed the program, which is now entitled the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program, and that program is here as a result, a direct result of leadership's ability and desire to meet the needs and adhere to the response of the community. Next slide, please, Paul. Now, one of the things that came on board immediately was the city of Miramar has instituted a business pledge. The city of Miramar will never exclude any business from participation in. We will never deny the owner the benefits of or otherwise discriminate against anyone or any business or business owner in connection with the award and the performance of any contract. The simple goals and objectives of the BID program is to uphold the highest standard of inclusion and ensure equal opportunity and non-discriminatory practices by extending assistance to all firms that desire to do businesses with the city, with a special focus on those small, minority, disadvantaged, and local businesses. Next slide, please, Paul. Now, how do we do that? First, you need to know who we are. You know that we're BID. So what does that mean? BID is the program that we are designing change management strategies. We seek to educate, connect, and grow local and minority businesses. And we want to ensure that these businesses are afforded access to participate in the city's procurement process. And we strive to do so in terms of eradicating the discriminatory barriers that the industry identified and the diversity study by developing programs to advance the vision and the goals of the city leadership. How do we do that? We do that through monitoring and compliance, outreach, education. We have a contractor database, which you'll hear a little more about from Paul. And then we have minority data collection. Those are the tools by which we use to empower, educate, and connect businesses to grow. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of educate, this platform is one of those that has been designed and developed to educate. BIDFIT, at the post of gathering data through surveys, we were able to identify that we could provide small minority and disadvantaged businesses with a little more assistance on how to respond to solicitation projects, how it is to prepare project pricing so that when you secure and respond and are successful in securing a bid, you don't price yourself out of having a profit. What are the insurance and bonding barriers and/or requirements when responding to solicitation packages? What it is to the bid database that we are hearing so much about, and how it is that database can be advantageous to small minority and disadvantaged businesses. How do we do business with the city of Miramar? We understand that that's through vendor registration. Well, give us a little more information about vendor registration. So all of those components through this particular series called BIDFIT is a component of how we're educating businesses on how to position themselves to secure more contracting opportunities. Next, we connect, and we develop a web form platform that's simply called It Connect, where we really believe that knowledge is power. And we use that platform to connect our local small minority and disadvantaged businesses with community stakeholders that can educate them, that can we have the next year that's coming up where we're going to have where they can get mentored, they get shared responsibilities, and they have shared experiences. Not all businesses that desire to do business with the city of Miramar will, but we want you to know when you register as a vendor with the city of Miramar, we're sharing your information. We're developing these programs because we want you to connect with other agencies. Today is a perfect example. We have the school board of Palm Beach County, and we have a team of experts that are here that are going to be sharing with you their upcoming contracting opportunities. And so Bid Connect is another platform developed by BID to be able to help businesses to connect with community stakeholders. Our last component is to help businesses to grow. Amid this COVID pandemic, more than in any other time since the implementation of this program, small businesses are in desperate need of our help. We have gone beyond the call of duty from flyers out, developing programs and services. Leadership continues to explore and develop it to ensure that we are providing guidelines, mechanisms, available grants, contracts, daily business supports, emails, stakeholder collaborations, whatever and anything that we can to make it to position the businesses to not only be able to stay alive amid COVID, but to be able to thrive and grow. Next slide, please. That concludes the introduction of the business inclusion and diversity aspect of this program. And so now we are going to move forward. When you look at the flyer and getting adjusted and coming to join this platform, one of the things that we committed to being able to make available is information on the upcoming surtax projects. The city of Miramar has entered into an interlocal agreement with Broward County. And you know that Broward County has that surtax projects where they have annual amounts that are being implemented to allow and ensure more inclusion and diversity on projects that will be available for small minority and disadvantaged businesses. And the city of Miramar has partnered, and we will, in fact, will be releasing projects. So to better prepare, as the diversity study has instructed us to do so, and position businesses to be able to adequately get themselves ready in advance, we have Ms. Leah deRiel. She is the City of Miramar's Senior Project Engineer. She has come on board and been supportive of this entire BIDFIT webinar series. And Ms. deRiel is in charge of all of the surtax transportation capital improvement projects for the City of Miramar. And so one of the things that we learned is that businesses often do not look at a scope of work. and they're not familiar with the terms and the information and how to really understand what the scope of work is about, what it is that these project engineers are seeking when they release this information. So who better to give them that information than a city engineer? So Ms. Leah, thank you again for joining us. If you could take over now and provide more information to the firms, I'll gladly allow you to do so. And before you get started, we'd like to let the participants know, if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please, please, please use the chat box to enter your questions. The panelists will be speaking. You can address the panel member that you desire to answer your question. At the conclusion of them making their presentation, they will be responding to your questions. So feel free, use the chat box, make those questions available. If you present them while they're speaking, I'll respond with some of your questions at the conclusion of the presentations. Leah, please take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Hollis. So, as she mentioned, I'm the capital improvements projects coordinator for the Broward County surtax projects that the city of Miramar has. Just wanted to give you guys a scope preview into some of the projects that we have coming up. So we have 4 different transportation surtax projects that will be upcoming in this fiscal year. The first and most major project is Pembroke Road from Southwest 160th Avenue and extension out to US 27. So this includes 3 design segments. The first one is Pembroke Road, the widening of Pembroke Road from Dykes Road to 196th Avenue. There's an existing 2-lane typical section that's there right now. We're going to be widening that to a 4-lane divided roadway with median, landscaping, irrigation, lighting, buffered bike lanes, sidewalks, and some utility work. The second section of Pembroke Road is going to be Southwest 196 to US 27. There is no connection there right now, and so it would be a new 4-lane divided roadway with a small bridge or culvert over that canal that's there right at 196th. And that gets the same treatment as the other one with all those similar design components. And then the third portion of this project is the extension of Miramar Parkway from Southwest 192nd Terrace to Pembroke Road. We're extending Miramar Parkway north to meet Pembroke Road. These 3 segments are all part of the same project. This is a design scope of services. So for all my construction contractors out there, construction will follow in approximately 2 years. But for the designers who are on the line right now, this is a great project to go after. So if you're a small DBE, SBE, CBE firm, please consider going after that, teaming up with somebody or pursuing it as a prime yourself. There is a 30% CBE and SBE participation requirement for this project. So, like I said, if you fall into that category, this is a great project for you to go after. There are 3 other projects coming up, 2 design services project and 1 planning services project. So all these are designed, but for these are smaller projects, so construction should follow in about a year. The first one is the bus shelter improvements projects. This is 13 bus shelters at various locations throughout the city of Miramar. This is also, as I mentioned, a design scope. Even though CBE and SBE participation is 0% mandated by the county, that doesn't mean that you should not pursue these. We welcome and encourage CBE and SBE participation. The second project that we have in kind of the smaller project category coming up is Pembroke Road bike lanes from State Road 7 to Island Drive. This is just south of Perry Airport. The scope for this one is planning services, so it would be development and analysis of conceptual design alternatives. Again, for buffered bike lanes on the north and south sides of Pembroke Road between State Road 7 and Island Drive. And the third project that we have is a design services project. That's the Pembroke Road bike lane from Palm Avenue to Douglas Road. Similar to the planning services project, this is the design services, but similar scope, buffered bike lanes, both north and south sides of Pembroke Road between Palm and Douglas. Like I said, these have no CBE or SBE requirement, but we still welcome and encourage all of you CBE and SBE firms out there to go ahead and bid for these. These are coming up this fiscal year, so sign up in Demand Star. We're targeting letting by early January, February-ish. Those dates are not set in stone, but if you're not signed up in Demand Star, go ahead and do that because that is the method that we will be using to let this project out. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Dr. Karen.
Thanks so much, Leah. For all of the firms, I was asking Paul in the chat box privately if you could try to expand the presentation that she has available for you, but do not worry. That document will be made available in the recording, along with the recording at the conclusion. Every presentation that you see our panel of experts present here today will be made available to each and every business, and it will be a part of the recording of this session. So don't worry if you were not able to see, you will be able to access that information because it's imperative that businesses have an opportunity, as you know, Leah, to be able to review the scopes of work. They're not going to be able to know whether or not they have a small component that they can offer a prime, or maybe they could collectively get together and develop a team to be able to respond. So our goal with the City of Miramar is to provide you with as much information as we can to position you well in advance so that you can plan and prepare to take advantage of these opportunities. We cannot thank you enough, Leah. You've been so faithful throughout these this webinar series. You continue to come, and who better for them to hear from than an engineer? Very seldom do our smaller and minority businesses get to speak directly with the engineers. And we have Leah's contact information on that last page. She is available, and one of those engineers that I can let you know, we have an amazing engineers that work for the City of Miramar. They are always, their doors are open. If you send her an email or any questions, once you get that scope of service outline about something on that sheet that you don't understand, she will respond and provide you with enough information to position yourself to be able to succeed. Remember, those communications must happen before the solicitation is released, because once that solicitation is released, our procurement director and team will be on this panel today. If we go into what you all understand is a cone of silence, no one will be able to respond or provide information to you at that time. So take advantage of this information, take advantage of this advanced notification and the information we're making available so that you can review it, get the information you need, and position yourself to succeed. Thanks again, Leah. And she normally stays on board. If you have any questions for Leah, you can put it in the chat box. We will make sure that she's able to answer you later. This is one program because she is in high demand at the city. We thank you. We understand that you will not be able to stay on the panel, so we will release you. And thank you again for your participation today, Leah. But any questions, we'll submit it to you later. Thanks again. Next, we have my very own director, Anita Fain Taylor. She is the Director of Economic and Business Development for the City of Miami. It's the department where the BID program is housed under. One of the things, and it was so important, and I'm so excited about having the director on the panel today, because the City of Miramar, we entered into another interlocal agreement, and this time with Broward College. Remember, the platform BID is to educate, connect, and to help you grow. Educate is a critical component of assisting these smaller firms in getting the information, the tools, the services they need to grow. Director Taylor has come today to explain a Broward Up and a new program initiative being advanced and implemented and sent out by we call it the EBD, that's our department, the Economic and Business Development Department within the City of Miramar. So I would love for you to give her your undivided attention so that you can understand the benefits, the amazing benefits, the leadership of the City of Miramar is going to make available to all of you through this amazing program. Thank you so much, Director Taylor, for joining us. Please take it away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As mentioned, I'm Anita Fain Taylor, the Director of Economic and Business Development for the City of Miramar. And our department covers numerous areas, of course, business inclusion and diversity, and that's the area in which Dr. Hollis oversees. We also work with our small businesses, not only to help them survive, but to thrive. We work with our corporate partners also in the area of retention and expansion. And there's one area I want to touch upon today more specifically, and that's workforce development. We know that as a result of COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, especially those in the areas of service industries and entertainment. And right before COVID, the city had entered into a memorandum of understanding with Broward College for the Broward Up program. And Broward Up stands for Broward Unlimited Potential. So this program, as Dr. Hollis had mentioned, that BID's goal is to educate, connect, and help people grow. This Broward Up program does that in so many ways. And Paul, could you do the next slide, and then I'll start the presentation. As I mentioned, before COVID, the Broward College president, Greg Hale, gave a presentation before the city commission. It was in March. And as a result of that presentation on June 17th, the Miramar City Commission approved Resolution 20-143, authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding, which we refer to as an MOU, with Broward College for the Broward Up program. Again, it stands for Unlimited Potential Program. Through Broward Up, the college is offering free educational opportunities and workforce training for Broward County residents. And the way that this program works is it identifies training needs, and it provides the workforce training so that after the training is completed, there's a greater probability that the person who participated in the program would be able to find work. And the goal is to help participants get training needed to find a good job, make more money, and get the skills needed to thrive in the workplace. Miramar, our historic area of Miramar, was one of those zip codes that was identified that had economic and educational disparities. There are 5 other zip codes, but our zip code is 33023. And it found that the average unemployment rate fell between 9% and 12%. And post-education attainment level was at 27%. And the average household income fell at about 30%. Now, these numbers are pre-COVID. So you can only imagine what those numbers look like today. In our Broward Up communities, it shows that on average in the United States, 42.4% people have an associate degree or higher. In Florida, it's 41.3, and in Broward, it's 49.27. But in these Broward Up communities, and as I mentioned, Miramar, historic Miramar with the zip code 33023, only 27% of the people have an associate's degree or higher. And statistics show that 65% of jobs today require education beyond high school. So through this partnership, the city and Broward College provide the following educational opportunities to our city employees as well as our residents. They'll design and deliver specific workshops for our employees on college and careers. They'll develop workforce education programs and in-demand certifications. And as I mentioned, the reason why we say in demand, the goal is so that once the person completes it and receives the certification, it will be easier for them to find employment. They'll also provide training to our city employees and develop a strategy for our employees so that they can obtain Broward College degrees. And they will create entrepreneurial programming for our Miramar residents. Classes will be held in the historic Miramar area of the city because we want the classes to be closer to the population we're trying to attract. And as a result, the classes will be held at our multi-service center, which is 6700 Miramar Parkway. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the classes have not been held physically. They've bend held virtually. And interestingly, that has not affected the attendance. We've had quite a few people attend classes. You can go to the next one, thank you. these are the types of classes and certifications that they offer. Some of these certifications do cost money. However, through a partnership with CareerSource, if a person wants to take receive a certification and there's a cost associated with it, they will link the person with CareerSource so that they can receive a grant to take the course and to receive the certification. To date, we've had 103 Miramar residents who have taken Broward Up classes in the following areas: manufacturing, healthcare, information technology, Microsoft Excel, team building, project management, supply chain management, and Lean Six Sigma process management. And it cost $0. 103 people took these classes, received certifications, and it cost $0. Free. As I mentioned, there are free workforce training classes. There are some, as I mentioned previously, that do cost. However, as I mentioned, those classes, they partner with CareerSource so that those who want to attend can receive a grant and it's free. And that's the next bullet that talks about the tuition for the healthcare course is available for eligible students. I have the website listed here for Broward Up. It's www.broward.edu/Broward Up. Just go to the website. You can register yourself. It's a great way. And I don't like to use the word re-event. I guess you just evolve, because this COVID has really impacted not just businesses, but the workforce. And it's a great opportunity to prepare yourself for other business or work opportunities, not just in Miramar, but in the greater Miramar area. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hollis.
Director Taylor, this program and our connection with this program is so timing, and the timing is so perfect on so many levels, because all of that data that's being released nationwide, not only are they talking about these businesses that are new innovative businesses that are starting, guess what? They said, unfortunately, remember I had a high school senior, over 50% of the high school 2020 high school graduating class made a decision not to go to college and are instead, due to this pandemic, due to the financial challenges, most of their parents have lost their homes, and lost their jobs. These students, these innovative now high school graduates with no college degree are looking for ways to get jobs. What better opportunity than for us to have a tool and a program in place where the city of Miramar, your city high school graduates, and you that know high school graduates and know individuals that may have lost their jobs, let them know about this innovative program. Let them know that they can ascertain these certifications free of charge. And even those that have, did you hear her? Those that have monetary attachments, there are programs and assistance in place through other CareerSource mechanisms and stakeholder collaborations that we can connect you with to see that we can assist you in positioning yourself to grow amid and just thrive amid this pandemic. We will get through this. And knowing that we have community partners like yourself and leaders like you in the city of Miramar, Director Taylor, thank you. I can't thank you enough from all the work that you and your program and your team are doing to ensure that we continue to make ourselves available to community in the city at large. Thank you so much again for joining. And we know if you have any questions for Director Taylor, please place them in the chat box. She, of course, having leadership on board is a phenomenal opportunity. They will not be able to stay on the entire two hours, but
I'll stay as long as I can before my next meeting, because I enjoy these webinars. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So if you have any questions for Director Taylor, please put them in the chat. She will be responding to you. Now, let's continue. I told you we have an excellent panel of experts today. Now, we've been partnering. We've been talking about community stakeholders. You've heard us use that word throughout. Well, with these webinars in BIDFIT, we had first Miami-Dade. We made available to you the Miami-Dade School Board and their upcoming contracts contracting opportunities was our first webinar that we presented in September. We came back and we gave you more information about whether or not and how to position yourself in terms of doing work with Broward. And now we want you to know that Palm Beach, because we work with the Tri-County area. Now we want you to know, as business owners, small business owners, new innovative entrepreneurs, we have some experts, a panel of experts from the Palm Beach County School Board. And we have with us, I'm going to introduce them all three because they will be doing a collaborative presentation. So I'll just introduce all three of them at the beginning and then turn the show over to them, and then they will all speak. Again, if you have questions for any of them during the time that they're speaking, just enter it into the chat box. And they do have another representative that's on the line that will be answering your questions. So let me give you a brief introduction. We have Mr. Jorge Sigler Garcia. He is the compliance specialist with Palm Beach County School Board. And in his role, he ensures and encourages small businesses to participate in bid solicitations and procurement initiatives. We also have his colleague, Ms. Yolanda Fields. She is the contract compliance specialist with the Office of Diversity in Business Practices. She assists small business owners through educational forums, such as these traditional meet and greet meetings that she has, and she makes available to small businesses, and she'll talk a little bit more about that in her presentation. Another member of this great team of three is Nicholas Tarago. He is a certification analyst for the School District of Palm Beach County. He joined the district in August of 2019, and he helps local, small, and minority-owned businesses get certified with the district. Nicholas also works exclusively with minority and women business enterprise applications. So as you can see, collectively, it was important for us to give you a wide variety so that you can have a better understanding of exactly all those opportunities that they're gonna let you know are available to you in Palm Beach County. So without further ado, I do wanna let them know that their director, and thank their director, Vicki Seitz, and Ms. Liz, the manager of that program, for allowing their team to come on board and work with us. I'm sure they'll give you information about their leaders, but thank you all again. And without further ado, Jorge, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hollis, and we're very excited. We're very happy to be here to help provide opportunity to your residents. We're more than happy to do that. Hi, everybody. Like Dr. Hollis said, I'm Jorge Sigler. I'm joined by my team here, and we'll be giving you a quick presentation, but packed with information. And at the end, we're going to leave our emails because there's a lot of questions you may have, a lot of the information you might want it. So we'd be happy to provide it to you. Let me go. Just first of all, I want to point out that everything we do, everything our department offers is part of the policy, the board policy of the school district. We're one of the largest school districts in the country, so there's a lot of work, there's a lot of opportunities, and that's what we want to show you. We want to show you how to become certified, the requirements, the steps, and then the opportunities and benefits that come with becoming certified. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Nicholas, and he's going to talk about how to become certified and the requirements.
Thank you very much, Jorge. Once again, my name is Nick. I work with the Office of Diversity and Business Practices as a certification analyst, and I work with the MWBE Minority and Women Business Enterprise applications. So what we do at the Office of Diversity and Business Practices at the School District of Palm Beach County is we certify MWBE and SBE businesses. That's Minority and Women Business Enterprise, and SBE Small Business Enterprise. We ensure bidders, contractors, and subcontractors are not victims of discrimination. We establish goals for construction and goods and services contracts. We provide all persons a fair and equal opportunity to participate in construction and goods and services opportunities. We evaluate and review all construction and goods and services contracts and bids. We conduct contract compliance and on-site monitoring, and much more. Next slide, please. And so any vendor can do business with the School District of Palm Beach County, whether you're located here in Florida or in Georgia or another state. Any vendor can do business with the School District of Palm Beach County. Next slide, please. However, we do have certain certification requirements for our program. And if we could go ahead and go on to the next slide. The principal place of business of the SBE must be in this local tri-county area. So that's Palm Beach County, Broward County, and or Miami-Dade County. And of course, Miramar is included in this tri-county state area. The business must have been established at a physical office and operational for a period of at least 1 full year prior to the application for SBE applications. The number of employees, full-time employees over the last 3 years must not have been more than 50% of small business standards. However, the small business size standards per each industry are very large. So unless you've got a several hundred number of employees, you likely don't need to worry about this. Next slide, please. So one of the ways that we determine eligibility is by examining your last 3 years of gross receipts and taking the average. So in the SBE program, in both programs, it's determined by your industry. In the SBE program for construction, it's not more of an average over the last 3 years of 13 million for construction, 7 million for commodities, and 6 million for professional services. Next slide, please. Thank you. And MWBE, Minority and Women Business Enterprise, it's 7 million for construction, 3 million for commodities, and 2 million for professional services. So just some examples of some documentation that we'll be requesting throughout the application. Last 3 years of your corporate tax returns, your occupational license, your business tax receipt. I always encourage applicants, if you have any questions about the application or the documents itself, please don't be afraid to reach out. Send myself an email if you're MWBE application. Send Heidi Galloway an email for SBE applications. You'll have her contact information throughout this presentation. Don't be afraid to ask us a bunch of questions because it can be stressful or confusing. No, not a problem. We're here to help. Send us an email. We'll be happy to get in contact with you. Next slide, please. So the interlocal program is a great program that we have. So we have a reciprocal agreement with Palm Beach County, City of West Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So if you're already certified with one of these 3 agencies, you are welcome to take advantage of the interlocal program. And it allows you to submit a very easy, streamlined application. So all you do is you request an interlocal cover sheet from the agency that you're certified with. You complete and sign our affidavit, and you submit a copy of your current certificate. It's really that easy. So again, if you're certified with Palm Beach County, City of West Palm Beach, or Miami-Dade County, you can take advantage of the interlocal program to submit an easy, streamlined interlocal application. Now, some things of note is that this is considered a reciprocal agreement, not a reciprocal certification. So just because you're certified with Palm Beach County, for example, does not mean that you are automatically certified with us. Another thing to note is that the certificate runs through the life of your existing certification with the other agency. So if you're certified with Palm Beach County through June 1st, 2021, for example, if you come over on the interlocal program, you will be certified with us until June 1st, 2021. If you certify with us through a new application, you're granted 3 years, but through the interlocal program, it runs through the life of your existing certification with the other agency. And when it comes time for that certification to expire, you must go through the interlocal process again to receive certification with us, which means you go off and you renew your certification with Palm Beach County, for example, and then you submit another interlocal application. You cannot submit a recertification application. You must submit a new application otherwise. Next slide, please. So benefits of certification. How will our certification help you? We've got a lot of great benefits, so let's go into each one of these items. Benefit 1, meet directly with district staff. So at our events, you have opportunities to meet with district staff at multiple levels and departments and have conversations with us to see what we find important in the goods and services you provide. Even at our online events, we've had a lot of individuals from the district on these events who are accessible. You send us a message here in the call or an email. We're happy to get back to you. Next slide, please. Invitations to networking. So our events attract a wide range of professionals from many different industries. And recently, ever since we've conducted our events online, we started doing little breakout rooms throughout the events that place you in a room with like a few other individuals participating in the event. And this gives you additional chances to meet people, network, exchange ideas. So a benefit to our certification and coming to our events is invitations to networking. Next slide, please. Education and training. So, and again, our events aren't just networking opportunities. We have our events with experienced industry professionals, expert speakers, and leaders. you can take advantage of the education and training to be gained at these events. And so an example we have on the next slide is Small Business University. So here's an example of a great event we recently conducted, Small Business University. It's a 12-week training program for our small business owners to help them grow and develop. And our SBE certified firms get to attend free education courses and workshops. So this is an event of the great education, an example of the great education and training that you can take advantage as a certified vendor. And at this point, I would like to hand the presentation over and transition to Jorge Siegler, who is our contract specialist for construction.
Thank you, Nicholas. So I'm going to go over some of the benefits as well. The first one is points on bid evaluations. And this is a very important one. Companies, when they're bidding for large projects, they get to put their proposal in front of an evaluation team that scores them based on a certain rubric. We provide businesses that are certified with us with an extra set of points that can range between 10 and 20 points. And that can be very helpful, especially when we consider that it can be 150 total points, 120 total points. So those 10 to 20 points can be crucial, can make the difference between not winning and winning those proposals. Another benefit that we have is goal setting. So a lot of the businesses don't have the size to pursue multi-million-dollar projects. They may be just not big enough to provide all the goods or services that is required. So that's why we look at the contracts and see if we can put goals within. That means that the larger company that wins the project, that wins the proposal, will have by contract to subcontract a percentage of that project towards smaller companies. And that provides your business with an opportunity to participate. You may not be able to provide the entire contract, but 10% of it, 5% of it might be something more achievable. So it gives you the ability to grow. And in other instances, not just to grow, but to be seen by the school district staff. So later on, when you want to participate as a prime, you already have experience with us. Another benefit, bid price preference, a 5% bid price preference. If you're bidding for a project, if you're bidding for work, and your price is not the smallest one, it's not but still you're within 5% of the lowest bidder, and the lowest bidder is not certified, you will be awarded the project because you're within that 5% range. And that allows you the opportunity to compete against larger, more established companies that simply have a better price because of their sheer size. Another benefit we have, customized meet and greet. And this one is a very popular one. Whenever a company is certified, they can request through a very simple form to have a meet and greet. We will see the information that you provide us. We will see what type of business you are, and we will try to match you with the end users within the school district. And we have tens of thousands of employees, so it's very hard for you as a business to pinpoint who those persons are, but to us, it's our job. So we will go through the steps to find those end users and put you in the same room with them, although right now with COVID, it's virtual, but we'll give you 20 minutes to provide a PowerPoint presentation and give them your value proposition, and then 10 minutes for questions and answers. And that makes a huge difference because they're not looking at a proposal anymore. They're learning about you. They're learning about the capacities that you have, what it is you have to offer. And that can make a big difference when you're proposing for a job. Another one, bid debriefing. This one, I wish companies used it more that are certified with us. This one is when you are bidding for a larger project and your proposal sits with an evaluation committee and you don't win the proposal, you can request a bid debrief. And what it does is it will bring the evaluators to you, they will meet with you, and they will analyze your proposal with you, telling you why they scored you the way they did, what is missing in your proposal, and what you can do. So the next one, you have all your ducks in a row and you can score higher. That can make a big difference because those are the people evaluating you, telling you what it is you can do better. Another benefit, expanding opportunities with prime vendors. Of course, we're very interested in getting you to get work with the school district and, get all these opportunities, but not just with the school district. We want it to go beyond that. So we will match you with prime vendors when you're playing as a subcontractor or subconsultant, in part because they need to meet that goal that I spoke of, but also so they get to know you. You provide them a benefit. Being certified, you help them meet that goal. So they need you. But once they use you, then they will see the quality of your work. And if it's a good quality, they may bring you up for other work, not just with the school district. And that's part of our goal, that relationship goes beyond the school district and permeates to Palm Beach County, City of West Palm Beach, Miami-Dade Public Schools, the City of Miramar. That's what we want to create. We want to create partnership between you, the small business, and these larger businesses as well. Benefit 10, assistance with subcontractor payment issues. This is something that we really have to put an emphasis on. You are mostly a small business, and small businesses require that cash flow. You getting work and not getting paid can be the difference between staying in business and not. So we are here whenever you're having an issue and not being able to collect payments to help you. And a lot of the times it may be just because of the size of the school district, there's just a lot of processes and it may take time. However, you reach out to us and we will see what's going on with that payment, in what stage is it, and what it is that's holding it back, if something is holding it back, to help you with those payments. Now, those are the benefits of becoming certified. And like Nicholas said, anybody can become certified. Just we provide extra benefits for it. And now we're going to go over how to do business with the school district. Bear with us. I know it's a lot of information, but we're trying to condense it to give you a very full encompassing picture of the school district. And for this part, I'm going to leave you with Yolanda Fields. She is the best there is in goods and services. So take it away.
Thanks so much, Jorge. What I want to go over right with you is there are 3 important steps on how to do business with the school district of Palm Beach County. First, it is to register and certify with the Office of Diversity and Business Practices. It is important that you understand that there's a registration portal as well as a certification application portal. So please make sure that you do both of those with the Office of Diversity and Business Practices. Once you become a certified vendor with the school district of Palm Beach County, it is important that you then go and register with Periscope S2G. They were formerly known as BIDFIT. The school district of Palm Beach County puts all of their upcoming solicitations and bids out through Periscope S2G. So please make sure that you register with them with an active email address. Also, once you've registered with them, make sure that your email information is always up to date and current, because that is where you will receive an email of the upcoming solicitations. The third step is we always encourage all of our vendors to always go in and view upcoming solicitations on our webpage. So you could be a vendor or a non-vendor, and it's available to everyone. So next slide, Jorge. So what I wanted to go over with you is on our webpage, the important information that I just spoke about. First, how to register and certify with the Office of Diversity. Second, go in and click on the Periscope S2G to receive notices of bids. And then also we have current and future solicitations as it pertains to construction projects, as well as new solicitations for goods and services. Next slide, Jorge. So as I stated before, as you can see, BidSync has changed its name to Periscope S2G. And again, that is where all of the new bids and opportunities that are coming up from the school district of Palm Beach County will be received through Periscope S2G. Next slide. So as you can see, I wanted to show you an example on our website for upcoming opportunities for goods and services. This is what it actually looks like. It will have your project number, the description of the project, commodity codes, date of release, estimated due date. One thing that I really want to emphasize is the importance of looking at the commodity codes. The commodity codes are very, very important and critical. So once you fill out your information and you're interested in doing a specific project, make sure that you look at the commodity codes. If you want to get information on how to fill out your application and to make sure that you're inputting the information as it pertains to the product or service, you can always contact me and I'll be more than happy to share the information with you as it pertains to the proper commodity code. These codes are presented to us from our purchasing department, and you can go onto our website every month. This list is updated every month, and it also has all of the information you see here, including the commodity codes. Next slide. So some areas of opportunities where we're looking for vendors is automotive and transportation, communications and related services, education, environmental, landscape, for example, fertilizers, insecticides, swimming pools, that would be maintenance, repair, and services, travel, as well as uniforms. So this is a very, very small sample of areas of opportunities. Once again, on our webpage, you will also see this link that says commodity codes, and it gives you a wide variety. And if you have any of those businesses that you're interested and you want to provide them to the school district, please, by all means, we encourage you to call us, inform of them, and then also then become a certified vendor. Next slide.
So for this part, I also want to point out, there are multiple levels, like we've mentioned here. There's prime vendors, subconsultants, and subcontractors. It's important that as a business, you know where it is that you fit. Prime vendors are the companies that are going to be engaged directly in business with the school district. You're interested and you have the capacity to provide all the goods and or services to the school district directly. And remember, we are one of the largest school districts in the country. So that is a lot for most of the time. We're talking big contracts. Then there's subconsultant, and this is a very small specific niche for professional services mainly, in which you partner with a prime vendor in a specific area of that contract, but you're providing the same or a similar type of service. These, we see it a lot, and I tend to see things through the lens of construction services because that's what I focus on. In terms of architecture and engineering, whenever an architectural company wins the bid to design a full school, subconsultants would be the engineers, civil engineer, mechanical engineers that are required to fulfill that project. Subcontractors are those that are going to help the prime vendor fulfill the role. You may be a small computer shop and the prime vendor got the whole project. You may not be able to provide all the goods and or services of that contract, but a percentage of that is going to be subcontracted to you. In terms of construction, which again is how I tend to see everything, trades, the plumber is not the one building me this whole school. The construction manager is ensuring that. However, you will be the plumber, you are a subcontractor to that prime vendor. Now on the next slide, I'm going to talk to you about something that Dr. Hollis actually touched on and is very important. Whenever you're going to bid for work, whenever you're looking for work, keep this in mind. These are the steps you're going to take. The first one is for construction-related companies. You have to be pre-qualified if you are going to seek for work that is beyond $300,000. Any construction-related, trade-related type of work that you want to get, you may need to be pre-qualified for this size of the work. So that you have to have it ready before you even start looking. The second one is look on our website for the upcoming proposals. That way you're prepared. That way you know what's coming and you can ask us questions. Like Dr. Hollis mentioned, this you have to do it before it hits the cone of silence. You can call us and, hey, I see that this proposal is going to come out. How can I be prepared? What do I need? What do I need to have ready? You can call Yolanda. You can call myself. We're always happy to help you. We're always happy to provide you all that information. If we don't know it, we'll find it out. That's part of our job. Because once that proposal hits the streets, once the request for proposal is out there, it hits the cone of silence. We can't help you at that point. At that point, you have to do everything through Periscope S2G. You have to, all the questions, ask them through there, and we won't be able to help you because we also tend to sit on those evaluation committees. And lastly is the evaluation committee, in which a committee made of multiple departments reviews your proposal and scores it. At that point, the results are final. So be sure to be on the lookout for things that are coming out. Now, just like Yolanda showed you a list of upcoming goods and services, I'm going to show you my favorite one, construction-related projects. You can see the planned advertisement date for it, the project name, which tells you whether it's architectural and engineering, or if it's CM, which is construction management, and it shows you the approximate construction budget. And this is very important. If you're going to go as a prime, so you can start preparing for it, you can start preparing your proposal. If you're a smaller company, if you're a plumber, if you're an HVAC technician, maybe that's you won't be building me the school, but you can look and see if this project has that component. You can start reaching out, maybe not to us, but you can reach out to the primes. And that is what comes next. Just like we provide you this list, we have, and give me a second because here we go. We have a list of awarded contracts that tells you the name of the contract, the company that won the bid as a construction management company, and their contact information. If you look at the first one, Jacob Katz, and that's his email, is the project executive for that. So we're giving you quality information for you to be able to reach out to the people and get all that already there. Because in the terms of construction, you have to pre-qualify with each prime in order to work with them. So if you want to do things ahead of time, you may need to pre-qualify with multiple primes. So we want you to start doing your due diligence as early and as soon as possible. All that can be found on our website. Trust us, our website is full of very valuable information for you to do business with the school district. And I want to give you guys a quick overview. I'm going to leave you later on with our emails, but I want you to know that what's important to do business with the school district is build relationships, get to know the district staff related to the goods and services you provide, and the prime vendors. Start reaching out to them. Request meet and greets, both with the primes and the school district staff. Once you request the meet and greet, we try to pair you with the appropriate people. Certification, again, it does not guarantee work. And I have to be clear about this. Once you're certified, that doesn't mean you can just go to a school and sell your goods and services. That's not how it goes. You have to win these bids. It will not guarantee work, but it gives you those opportunities we talk about. Invest in research. Request the proposals from other companies that have won, and those solicitations. Understand that you have to be responsive to all these bids and the requirements of the district, but you also have to be responsible. You have to know how much you can provide and not go over that, because that can be another issue if you win a project and it's more than you can handle. So be very honest with yourself of how much you can do. And if you cannot do the whole thing, you can always go as a subcontractor. There's also preparation. You need to be prepared. You need to go on our website. We say this all through our presentation, but it's important. Go to our website, see what we're offering, see the information, what's coming, what do you need? Once you see a project that's coming on the horizon, don't wait to call us later. No, start emailing us now. Start asking us questions. We will start working with you, and that will give you time to prepare. And determine how you want to gain access. Do you want to be the prime? Do you have the capacity to be the prime, or a subcontractor or subconsultant? With that being said, I'm leaving you with our emails for a quick minute. Don't worry, if you have questions, put it in the chat. I'm not able to answer them as I'm talking and moving the slides. I can do a lot of things at one, but not that many. However, I have Patrick here, Yolanda, Nicholas. We're more than happy to help. Take our emails, take a picture of the screen. I'm buying time. I'm talking here, buying you time to take a picture of the screen and get our emails. That's what I'm doing right now. Just so you know, there's only a limit of how much time I can buy you, and it's running short. With that being said,
we're going to give it to them. Jorge, we're going to give them this presentation. They'll get to have it.
Perfect. Then even better. With that being said, I'm going back to Dr. Hollis and take it away. Thank you for your time.
Excellent, excellent, excellent information. We want you prepared. We're not going to tease you. I love that Jorge was working. And I want you all to see, you should be able to see we all have the same amount of passion. We don't just have these are not just jobs for us. We're all working remotely. I'm at home. Jorge's at home. Yolanda's at home. But we are very much, the city of Miramar is open. Palm Beach County School Board is open, and the school is actually open again. We continue to work throughout this process. I want you to know we have to do some wrap ups because they gave so much good information. You will get that presentation. But listen, I continue to be shocked in this industry of how businesses underestimate the buying power of the school board. Did you see those numbers? Did you see those construction contracts? Millions of dollars on those projects. Did you see Yolanda's goods and services contract? There is a lot of work that's available through the school board. So a firm came to me afterwards. We had Miami-Dade School Board on our first BIDFIT, and a firm came and was very, very shocked. Very shocked. I hear you to see the buying power of the school board. Now, another thing that they said, Jorge said, debriefing. So many, I came to the city of Miramar in 2018. Believe it or not, there are businesses. I started working, I kept trying, Mrs. Hollis, Dr. Hollis, I came and I got no luck. And I said, well, did you find out why? What do you mean, did I find out why? You have to go back and ask why. Every agency, we work under transparency. Everything is public records. You can literally, we keep trying to educate you on how to navigate this process. But after it's over, it's just like a test. If you're in school, God knows I've done enough schooling. If you do not go and get information as to what was it that prevented you from being successful, you could be just keep repeating the same mistake. We do not want you to do that. Our procurement team, which is going to present something later this afternoon, Dr. Brenda will let you know. Our procurement team will sit with you just like Palm Beach County School Board, and they will let you know this is where you went wrong. And 9 times out of 10, they're minor mistakes. Unfortunately, the smaller businesses don't follow up to see where they went wrong so that we can equip and empower them with better information so that they can be successful. That is why we're having these webinars. Prime contractors are doing it. They have teams in place. They always ask where did they go wrong, and they go back and they fix it, which is why they're more successful. So now you want us to present you to our leadership as viable, qualified businesses. And along with that comes the responsibility of doing what needs to be done so that you can move forward. A few more things I want to do before we move forward. Yolanda mentioned vendor registration. Too many businesses come. How do I do business with the city? Well, guess what? She said it. Just like Palm Beach, just like the city of Miramar, vendor registration. That is your way of communicating to Palm Beach County School Board, to the city of Miramar. These are the goods and services that I offer. And what we will do as our procurement team, when we are procuring and purchasing those goods and services, we will send an email to you saying, guess what? We're procuring for your goods and services. Please respond. Here's the information. That's the most critical. It's nice, yes, leadership, commissioners, everyone will meet with you. And it's nice that you all go and set up these meetings with them. But at the end of the day, don't forget vendor registration, because that's the first step to positioning your business to be successful and having procurement opportunities in the future. Another thing she said, commodity codes. So many, thank you, Lalonda. So many businesses. If you have expanded your goods and services amid COVID, guess what? Go back in, update your vendor registration, update that portal. If you're now selling PPE gear, guess what? We're buying a lot of it. We need to know. Don't just call and send Dr. Hollis an email. Yes, I do forward it to procurement. Yes, I do forward it to the fire chief. Go in, update. If you are now expanding, you take certification courses and you now have a project management certificate. Go in, update your vendor registration. add that commodity code so that when we're procuring for those goods and services, we'll be sure that the procurement department will know you exist, know you provide these services, and you'll get an email. Last but definitely not least, if you've done anything to expand and change your services amid this pandemic, understand the necessity of going back for all of those certifications, because guess what? Certifications are required and a lot of in terms of participation. Update your certification, keep your information updated. The next two panelists that we're going to be having, guess what? With all of those projects, we have bonding and insurance requirements. Those are not barriers. Some things are barriers. Requirement of insurance and bonding is not. We are protectors of public dollars, and we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that we are partnering and contracting with, what did they say, responsive and responsible businesses. No one gets a contract just because you're small, minority, or disadvantaged, or any ethnic. We have an obligation as protectors of public dollars to ensure that we are contracting and providing services and contracting with responsive and responsible bidders. So please keep your data up. Perfect transition for our next panelist. We have Mr. James Drake. I want you to know, if you, in terms of last but not least, before we move forward, they talked a little bit about pre-qualification. Our September BIDFIT workshop, we did have FDOT on, and they provided the pre-qualification platform for construction and commodities. You can go onto that. We have a recording of that, which we can make it available to you. And they have the actual applications, everything you need to know about pre-qualification. Likewise, our October 1st BIDFIT webinar, we also had USDOT on board. They gave a contracting opportunities. They extended to not only pre-qualification, but programs that come available, and how a lot of the prime contractors that are looking to have smaller businesses pre-qualified, one of the triggers and one of the number one tools they say that they look, if you have that FDOT pre-qualification, all it says to that prime is that you've already been vetted. And it streamlines the process for them to pre-qualify you as well. Okay, so now we're going to keep it going. So now that we've told you all the opportunities that are available and you saw the dates, some of those projects are still available and will be upcoming. So go onto the website to make sure you get that information. Next, we have Mr. James Drake. He is the Vice President of Signatory Insurance Agency. And Mr. Drake has been assisting, supporting, supplying, helping small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses for no less than 3 decades. And I know this because I have shared with him in this space for at least, 20 years, Mr. Drake? And so it is a pleasure to have him on the panel. When the first 2 BIDFIT series, both in September and October, we were able to continue to provide you with bonding information so that you can have the information needed to position yourself, because when you look at some of those solicitations, some of them require bonding and insurance. So now we need to make sure that you also get an expert that can assist you in understanding the insurance requirements for projects. We've got one of the best in the industry, Mr. James Drake, and we're now going to allow him to provide you with some valuable information so that you can position yourself to succeed with these contracting opportunities. I will present to some and reintroduce to others Mr. James Drake. Mr. Drake, please take it away. And thank you again, sir, for agreeing to be on my panel today.
Put up the certificate of insurance. Next slide. I'm going to speak about insurance requirements typically, there we are, typically required by government agencies. Even outside of government, working for larger companies, similar insurance requirements are required. Many contractors come to me after they've been awarded a contract, and the timing is really tight between the date of award and the date they have to start and put the insurance together. It's better to be prepared during the bidding process, particularly building the cost of insurance in your bid. Well, let's look at the certificate itself. Many contractors, this is all they care about. They need this certificate to get paid. The policies are fine and all the other previous paperwork, but most government agencies on a certificate evidencing you have certain coverages in effect. First one listed is general liability. This is coverage for bodily injury, property damage caused by the insured to someone else. Second column, it's in small print. Additional insured and subrogation waived. Where the X's are, these are typical government requirements. In the case, say, let's say it's the city of Miramar, project is being constructed and they want to be an additional insured under the policy. Which means if something happens, an injury or property damage, claim is brought against the city as well as the contract. The city has additional contractors and general liability policy has covered. The city doesn't have to call on its own insurance covered for the accident that may have occurred during that contractor's work. The second item, subrogation waiver, is where the insurance company pays the claim. And now it might say Miramar was partly responsible. Well, if the insurance contract doesn't waive the subrogation, then that insurance company has a right to go after. Waiver means they can't do it. It's kind of a technical thing. Most government agencies desire. As far as the amount of insurance on the last column, this is pretty standard. $1 million for each occurrence, that's per accident. Damage to rented premises, which is insured's own premises. If they rent it, they have coverage for up to $100,000. Medical expenses, kind of a first aid coverage. There's been an accident, let's say an injury. It's not serious, but somebody may have to go to treated at an emergency room, would pay for that without regard to liability. Personal and advertising injury, this is not bodily injury, this is libel, slander, false arrest, wrongful eviction, somebody's been injured but not physically. It's mental, let's say mental injury. Then general aggregate. General aggregate means in a policy year, $2 million is the most the policy will pay for all the accidents that occur throughout that year. So there's a cap on accidents. Products, particularly in this means, well, it's products and completed operations. In construction, tends to be where the contractor has done some work, completed it, and then some fault is found. They've installed a light fixture and it's fallen from the ceiling and injured somebody. That's a completed operations claim. The work has been done, the contract effect manifests itself afterward. That's the liability section. Premium basis is usually payroll or sales, some measure of the size of the insured. Payroll is typical for construction, sales, if you're in selling products to or to even a private firm. A lot of times, the vehicle may not be in the company name. If it's in the company name, you need to insure it that way. If it's not in the company name, the policy can be extended to cover any auto, owned, rented, whatever. Again, depending on the nature of the insured's operations, the auto exposure can be large, making constant deliveries to a client is greater exposure than if it's an occasional visit, say by a consultant, as we're doing now. Just wrote insurance for a consultant, and he said, I don't use my automobile. We're on the computer now all the time. So I said, well, you'll have to get the automobile once this virus is gone, because they'll hold you to the terms of the contract. The next item, umbrella loan. This is basically more insurance on top of what you have. In this case, $2 million. I'm seeing this a little more recently. Usually, first general liability coverage was enough. Now I'm seeing requests for even higher limits. And sometimes the most that the general liability insurer will do is $1 million each occurrence and $2 million aggregate. You have to get another company right above that. Next item is workers' compensation. All these items I've talked about other people. As an employer, workers' compensation construction, Florida says, the state says, one or more employees, you need workers' compensation insurance. Non-construction, it's 4 or more. Recommended that it purchase anyhow. Workers' compensation insulates the employer against most employee lawsuits involving injury. They have to take workers' compensation. And the payroll determines the premium, and the nature of the work determines the premium. One thing that probably the only good news in insurance is liability premiums are going up, auto premiums are going up, property insurance because we're in a hurricane zone. Workers' compensation over the last 5 years has been continually going down. Most recently, the group of insurance companies that write this coverage, their representative is asking for like a 10 or 15% reduction. Has to be approved by the state of Florida. Workers' comp premiums of the same payroll and the same activity have been going down year after year. Down on this list here is property insurance. Again, property insurance is at your own business, be it if you own the building or just the contents. You should, and if there's a lender involved, they will insist on property insurance. Related to that, you keep reading these stories of hacking. These are accessed by hackers, and they're either stealing data or so that the person who's been hacked can't access their data. There's insurance against that as well. It's called cyber liability insurance. Some government contracts I've seen are requiring it now. Not everyone, but anyone who's involved in anything in the IT area might access the government's computer system will be required to carry that coverage. One other thing is clients have bid on work at the Fort Lauderdale airport. So in addition to all that stuff I just talked about, there's a liability coverage called, it's basically aviation insurance, even though those insureds on flying planes, premises, they have access to the runways or nearby, so they require $5 million airside liability, which is kind of tough to get, but they want, if they do that work, they have to have that coverage. So if there are any questions, you have the chat room. Back to Dr. Hollis. Thank you.
Excellent, Mr. Drake. Thank you so much. Now, one of the things we continue to say that certain things that most businesses think are barriers are in fact not barriers, but requirements. But a lot of work has been done with these programs and these industries, understanding that the cost of securing the insurance as well as the bonding, which we'll hear more about from Ms. Gladys Keith in a minute, have been so in the past more troubling and more of a challenge for small minority and disadvantaged businesses, especially those micro businesses that are looking for opportunities for some of these projects. What I love that has evolved over the time with these industries is that a lot of the programs now, and Gladys people will speak to this, well, they'll allow some of those subcontractors to fall under the bond of the prime contractor. Now, they haven't eliminated the need for a bond on the project to protect whatever the city, the school board or whatever, but now the ingenuity is coming in, and likewise with insurance. When we see that there are projects, and before they used to automatically have that $1 million requirement for auto insurance. Over the years with these industries, Mr. Drake, you must have seen that DLC. And sometimes the businesses, you won't know unless you ask. When you get a solicitation and that process says, are there any questions? And you see that you will be only providing submit to a contractor, and the solicitation requires for car insurance of $1 million. It doesn't hurt you to ask the procurement. Remember in the chat box, I see we have the questions being answered, and Patrick said, once again, in that cone of silence, you will only get questions answered by the purchasing agent, but don't forget to ask. If you see that something is there that can prove more challenging for you, ask the question so that they can give you this information. We need you to know of a resource you can contact, Mr. Drake. Thank you so much for going over that insurance policy in that platform, because so many of the small businesses that have never worked on these major projects, they've not seen that liability form. They don't know what it looks like. They've never read it. They don't understand it. So I can't thank you enough for having gone through that and providing detailed information on exactly what that information is. You will have requirements in every solicitation requiring for either insurance and or bonding. Thanks again, Mr. Drake. His contact information will be available. That sample form that he made available, we will also forward that and make it available to you as well. Moving right along with our great panel of experts, we have Ms. Gladys Keith. She is the president, owner of FSB Bonding Agency, an agency that specializes in contract surety bonds. And she's been doing and having experience in this area for more than 35 years. I am happy and always proud to say not only is she a Black-owned, female-owned business, but she's a Miramar business. Yay! We support our own. We are very proud to have our very own Miramar business. Ms. Keith, thank you so much for agreeing and continuing to be persistent with us in this panel and to make sure we continue to reach as many businesses as we can. Bonding is a vital part of them being able to take advantage of these contracting opportunities. And so without further ado, I will definitely turn it over to Ms. Gladys Keith so she can give you a little more information about what are we talking about with all of this bonding when it comes to projects and securing contracting opportunities. Take it away, Gladys.
Thank you very much, Karen. I want to first answer your question that you put out there about companies using their primes bond. There is programs out there called subguards, and a lot of them will offer that to their subs, but it's not to the subs' advantage, really, because you're going to have to pay for that bond under the subguard, and you might as well go step out on your own and try to get the bond under your name, establish some type of relationship with the surety company so that you can start growing your own bonding capabilities. It's not hard to do bonding on your own. There are programs out there now that will make it easy for you to start your bonding. Now I'll say, hi, I'm Gladys, the owner of FSB Agency. We are a bond-only agency. When you need a bond, we get it done. The three major bonds that you will fall into. I'm not going to do all of that. I'm just going to give you a basis. You're going to need a bid bond. You're going to need a performance and payment bond. These are the three bonds that most municipalities are going to ask you for. So those are going to be the bonds that you're going to have to familiarize yourself with. And I'm not going to go through those because it's too long. Bonding is really an individual basis. I can sit down with anybody who has any questions about a bid bond, performance bond, or payment bond and go through that detail with you. The main thing I want to tell everybody is you have to have your business established. And what I mean by that, you have to be either incorporated, a partnership, or an LLC, a limited liability. You can't step into the bonding arena. You can step there if you want to as a sole proprietor, but your risk, you're putting yourself at a very high risk. If someone wants to sue your business and you're a sole proprietor, they're suing you because you have no bail covering you because you're not incorporated. The next thing, it's going to be easier for you to get into the bonding arena if you have a bank account in your business. You know, your business company has its own bank account. You have your, you file taxes every year. Your taxes are current. You have a CPA that's helping you do financial statements. And you have an attorney that's reviewing the projects for you. If you have those things in place, it's going to be easier for you to get through any type of bonding process. There are bond programs out there now where you, as long as you have good credit, what is considered good credit, at least 650 credit score, where I can get you set up with 400, 500,000 single bonding capacity. And that will get you started with any city, because I think the limit where they start you is 200,000. So you get a project over 200,000 and you have bonding just based on your credit, you can move on and start to grow with bonding. So if you have any more detailed questions about bonds, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gladys. That is fantastic information because our goal is to position these businesses to grow. Yes, they have these programs, but give me a fish, you feed me for a day, you teach me to fish, and then I'm really growing and developing. Jorge, myself, Nicholas, Yolanda, we're here to give you the tools to teach you to fish. We want you to grow. We want you to be able to get your own bonding capacity, because until you start taking those baby steps, you'll never be able to ultimately become. We saw those tiers that Jorge showed. So we want you climbing up that ladder from subcontractor to subconsultant and then prime contractor. Getting all of these tools and skills and these devices in place is what is going to be an intricate part of your growth. If you have not, in terms of credit checks and credit repair and the accounting part, that also is required and play a vital role in this process, look at our previous recordings. I'm not just saying that to put that out there. That information is from there. Gladys can tell you we had experts that came in to do credit repair, and they were intricate about how they can help you get your credit score up. The days in which 30, 60, 90 days. Remember, once the solicitation is released, it's not time to go get all of these things in place. Capitalize on this COVID downtime to position yourself and your business to grow. Use this time. Go meet with the credit repair guy. Look at our September 26th. Look at our October 1st, the first two BIDFITs. Get in contact with Gander Financial and look at that information and those points that were on there. We allowed the school board county 3 platform of 3 experts, so we didn't have all of the other ones today. But all of that information has been made available to you, remains available to you through the recordings, which is why we record this, because it was so important. Do you see the wealth of information and all of the partners in that quad of partners in Palm Beach County, where you can go and capitalize on all of those contracting opportunities? There was no way we were going to limit them without bringing their entire team to come and give you more information. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Gladys Keith. You continue to provide fabulous service to our firms. If you don't know where you are in terms of bonding capacity, remember, take all of these panelists up on their word. Call them. They'll meet with you. They'll talk with you over the phone. We're doing the COVID safe distancing, and so most of the things are virtual. But you definitely can and should reach out to get the information you need to grow. Excellent, Paul. Paul is so good in letting me know to keep it going. Now, let's keep it going here. Next, we have Mr. Stuart Combs. We have a representative from the Florida State Minority Supplier Development Council that's being spearheaded by none other than a colleague of mine, Ms. Beatrice Lewis. She and I have been friends and relations for over 25 years as well, but Mr. Combs, the representative today, is a certification manager with FSMSDC. He joined their team back in 2015, and his current role involves overseeing the certification process and working closely with the supplier development management team. We had Mr. Combs do a wonderful certification workshop before. Last year, in February, he provided the businesses with such vital information, so much so that there was no way that this BIDFIT 4-part webinar series could be complete without the inclusion of this valuable information, because what we said in that flyer is that we're going to expose you to a valuable and a myriad of certification opportunities and agencies, because along with certification, as you heard from Jorge, there are a lot of benefits that come with certification. Here's yet another opportunity for you to explore another certification, another agency, and other opportunities for your business to grow. Stuart Combs, thank you so much for joining us. And I would like to present to each and every one of you, reintroduce the others that may have been at previous workshop, Mr. Stuart Combs. Take it away, Stuart.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hollis. As always, we very much value and appreciate your time and your partnership with the City of Miramar. It means a lot to us to be able to reach out and talk to the business owners in the community. Also, I wanted to just give a quick shout out to Dickie Sykes and the Palm Beach County team and Mr. Jim Drake. Both of those individuals have relationships with the council for many years. So it's good to see all of us coming together and, like-minded, like services. It's always good to fellowship. So with that being said, my name is Stuart Combs. I'm the certification manager for the Florida State Minority Supplier Development Council. I know it's a lot. You could call us FSMSDC for short. You can call us the council if you want. We are a regional affiliate of a national organization known as the NMSDC. That's the National Minority Supplier Development Council. So basically what the NMSDC does is we are able to connect minority-owned businesses with both private and public sector opportunities in the corporate supply chain level. So our core services are very much in line with what the BID program does. So you may have heard Dr. Hollis say that they educate, connect, and grow. And even with the Palm Beach County School Board, very similar there as well. So we certify, develop, connect, and advocate on behalf of minority-owned businesses and for our constituents and our corporate members as well. The partnerships that we're able to foster through these core services are not only for private sector, so large Fortune 500 companies, but also in the public sector, and that's where our relationship comes in with some of the local municipalities like the city of Miramar and Palm Beach and what have you. So our region, we cover the entire state of Florida. So even if there's opportunities all throughout the state, then those are made available through our program. The certification piece is pretty simple, very similar to what the Palm Beach County School Board mentioned. So this is what you expect during the process. So it takes about 60 to 90 days, and we wanted to make sure that we discuss this, Dr. Hollis and I, because we want to make sure that we set the proper expectation on timelines and what to expect before you begin the process. It's very important to know when you're trying to time upcoming bids and things of that nature when they fall in line with this process. So you submit an application. We reach out to you if there's additional information that's needed. Typically, we used to do a physical site visit, but now it has to be virtual because we are definitely practicing social distancing in our council. After you submit the application, it goes before a certification committee and our board of directors, and those are made up of a combination of corporate members, and they're the ones who make the final decision on whether or not you're approved. Once the certification is approved, then you attend an orientation where we discuss things like how to maximize your certification, the different relationships that we have, and then you receive your certificate. Next slide, please, Paul. Okay, so this is the list of documentation. I know it is, it can be a little bit intimidating, but you don't want to let this stop you from being able to get some of these opportunities. So the corporate members and the NMSDC are the ones who vetted this process, and they put this list together. And what we are telling you when we give you this list is this is a ideal candidate for somebody who can provide these things and check these boxes. This is an ideal candidate in the eyes of the corporate supply chain. So that's why it's important to make sure you have all these ducks in a row. To tie into what Mr. Drake said and what Miss Fields said as well, what Miss Keefe said, some of those documents involve bonding as well and insurance. So it's really just making sure that your business is in line with where it needs to be and that, you have your liability and everything straightened out. Some of the tips for doing business once you become certified is, make sure that you've done your homework, register with procurement departments of private and public sectors. So this is vendor registration. That's what that means. A lot of times you're going to need the certificate number in order to register as a vendor. You want to find out what agencies have purchased in the past, ask for previous bids. Knowing what your customer is looking for is going to be important. Joint ventures and create strategic alliances. So you can find opportunities. There may be big opportunities that you can't tackle by yourself as a small business, but when you join with another small business, then you can position yourself in a way to be able to get those opportunities as well. Set-asides and sheltered opportunities are always low-hanging fruit, and there's a lot that can be in there. For example, we have a contract with the Florida Department of Transportation, and they have an initiative called the BDI, and those are for programs that are $100,000 and less. So that way you don't have to compete with some of the larger subcontractors, and you can focus specifically on those, and you can find some great opportunities there. Sharpen your pricing. So make sure that, you have some of the best pricing out there. I think Jorge mentioned earlier that, certification doesn't guarantee work. You still have to provide the best service. You still have to provide the best prices. So those things are really important when competing with other individuals. Having an effective capability statement is really important. I think that we actually saw one from Ms. Keefe. So I would say, when you get the presentation, look at hers, make sure that your capability statement is in line with how hers looks, because you know, you would be surprised how many businesses come to us, not even just startups, but they come to us and they don't have a capability statement. This is a resume for your business to show people really quickly a snapshot of what you can do without having to go into, you know, major detail. And then finally, the MBDA Business Center is a contract that we have through the U.S. Department of Commerce. And this is basically a program that is designed specifically to help minority-owned businesses and to go after contracts, to go after bids, to create capability statement, and basically all the things that we've talked about before this, we were able to assist you in helping get those things together. So I do recommend, you know, looking into the council to use some of the services, and you'll see that all of our services are very much in line with the BIDFIT program, and that's it. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Dr. Hollis, and of course I'll hang around for any questions that you guys have.
Well, Stuart, before you mute your button, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I love is that you allow the list of documents that are needed. You could go back to that, Paul. This was critical because so many times I want them to see these forms. So many, they have these webinars and we talk about these things, but no one ever lets them see the certificate of insurance. No one ever lets them see a capability statement. So we've strategically designed this BIDFIT series so that at the conclusion, you have a myriad of tools and services that you can go back and collectively use to implement and develop your own. One of the things that Stuart said that most people you don't even understand, with this process, the city of Miramar, for example, is not a certifying agency. However, we do accept the certifications of various agencies. The FSMSDC, they have the small minority SMBE and the MWBE certifications. Not every agency does. That is the certifications that we accept. What does that mean? I love, because we don't have to vet you. Certification is a vetting process. We have community members that are effectively, even Jorge and Vicky's team, vetting these businesses. Did you see the cycle that he says that vetting process goes through? You submit your application, then you go through, then you sit before their board. One of the things that he said, this list was developed by the board based on what their prime contractors and their major suppliers say they need to know that businesses have in place. I heard you, Stuart. They listen to the suppliers and the people that want to hire businesses and give them work. And these are the tools that they say they need to have in place. And they use that and develop the list to ensure this is their way of developing. That's what we mean by educate, connect, develop, and getting you to grow. We are the middlemen. We're going and ascertaining the information of what is needed. Gladys Keith and the Jim Drakes are telling us what you need to get a certificate of insurance and what's the score you need. So then we're developing and positioning you with all of these community partners. You need to, that 30 to 60 day, when you did the, because I listened to you well when you did that February workshop and you had more time. I think I gave you an hour and a half then. That 30 to 60 day, once you start this process, is not the time to start gathering those documents. We give you this list in advance because they want you to gather all of the documents, because that 30 to 60 window that he said is for you to go through their cycle of their process, not to give you 30 to 60 days to collect these documents. Correct, Stuart?
Correct. That is very correct. Yes.
You're supposed to collect the documents first. Once you've collected all of the documents, you attach them to the back of this, check them all, fill the application, submit it, so that your 30 to 60 day process is you having the application reviewed, them getting back to you with questions, you appearing before their board. Now, Stuart, we do have to let them know you are one of the agencies where your certification is not free, correct?
That is correct. Yes, Dr. Hollis.
Okay, we don't want to mislead my businesses. Please let them know how much the certification is to secure with your agency.
Sure, absolutely. So our certification has an application fee attached to it. It starts off at $300 if your business is if your gross annual sales is under 1 million, and then it goes up incrementally, and then we cap out. If you're over 10 million, then we stop at $800. So it does go up as your gross annual sales increase, and that is an annual fee too. So you do have to recertify every year, and based on your gross annual sales, we have to determine your application fee for that.
Okay. And one of the things that I want the small and a lot of the micro and local businesses may not be at this capacity able to secure that. One of the businesses said to me, Dr. Hollis, you're doing all of these things and I'm just not ready. I said, well, I'm not developing and the city is not asking me to develop a program to meet you where you are. We're developing a program to help you to grow. And we need you to see the many opportunities that remain available, because with FSMSDC, that supplier chain, when they had last year, we have to do the virtual conference this year, but last year, Tesla was the largest supplier. They did more minority. They got an award at the conference that I attended at the convention center, Fort Lauderdale, Broward County Convention Center, with the last conference they had. Well, they awarded Tesla because Tesla was one of the largest supply diversity minority purchasers. So this is, yes, it's $300, which may seem a lot, but we're looking at where you want to go, the extent and the possibilities that exist to grow your business beyond where you are. Thank you so much again, Stuart. We always welcome the opportunity to have you come in and make your information. Please go on to FSMSDC's website and see all the wealth of information that they're making available. They partner on the federal level, so all of the PPE loans and all of the grants and all of the things being available on the federal level are available to you. Yes, yes, yes. Presenting the city. I love telling everyone of what's going on in Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach County, Broward County, but it makes me even more happy to let my business know and the local businesses know and all of those that attend our workshop what's going on right here in the city of Miramar. Now, the procurement department, they are utilizing a tool called the Library of, well, I won't steal her thunder, a library of consultants, but we have an expert from the procurement department. I cannot see you. Do we have Dr. Brenda Martin with us? Where are you, Dr. Brenda?
Yes, I am here. How are you?
Fantastic. And let me give you information. I had to make sure because our director is Dr. Anita and the assistant director is Natalie Richmond, and they have presented in other series of the webinars. But we have, for the first time, Dr. Brenda Martin. She's the contract administrator manager for the procurement department right here at the city of Miramar. She works very closely with our project managers, our construction and engineering departments. When I tell you she is a source that you want to know, she's a tool, and she is definitely a stakeholder that I want all of our local, small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses that desire to do two things, have more contracting opportunities, and to know how to position themselves to capitalize on the benefits of the city, then you need to know Dr. Brenda Martin. So I will introduce to each and every one of you a fabulous member of our procurement team, Dr. Brenda Martin. Dr. Martin, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hollis. Again, my name is Brenda Martin, and I am with the City of Miramar Procurement Department. I have over 20 years of procurement experience, and my handle has mostly been in the construction field. And actually, I have over 20 years of construction experience in procurement administration as well. So at this juncture right now, I'm just going to hone in on the library of tools that we have at the City of Miramar. These libraries that we have an architectural and an engineering library. We have a subcontractor library, and we have a community and development library. These libraries are what we would use to pretty much streamline the process. Streamline the process of when we're trying to do solicitations. So instead of us going out to the to do a public solicitation every time we needed construction work done, or anything that has to do with the subcontracting fields with masonry or doors repaired, window repairs, plumbing, anything of that nature. Instead of us going out every time to do these services and going out with a full solicitation to via their newspaper or their construction journal or Demand Star, these are the avenues that we normally advertise on. So what we have done to streamline the process, we have sent out requests for qualifications. And when we send these qualifications out to establish the libraries, then we would streamline it and downsize the applicants and create libraries according to who are the highest scoring companies in those libraries. And I apologize that y'all are not seeing me. Just bear in mind that I am here. This was a last minute thing, so no picture, but you'll see me one day. Anyway, so as I said before, we streamlined the libraries and we scaled them down to a few of the vendors so that we can have, whenever we need these services, we would just tap into those libraries. And so it's much of a quicker process. It's easier for everyone. And that way, the people in the library, they become more familiar with the people in the city of Miramar, the construction workers, the project managers. And so it's a great way for your company to establish good relations with the city of Miramar. So these libraries are, they are under the exemption of the competition for services. So under section 2-413 of the procurement code, it states right here that professional services, contracts for professional services involving peculiar skills, ability, experience, or expertise, which are in their nature unique and not subject to competitive bidding or competitive proposals, are exempt from this section of the code. However, state laws such as the Consultants Competitive Negotiation Act, to the extent applicable, shall be followed. Right now, it's out that we're supposed to be increasing the coverage, where right now it's at $2 million for construction and $200,000 for studies, but there should be amendment coming up anytime soon where we can increase our coverage to $4 million for construction and $500,000 for studies. Next slide. Okay. The advantages, like I was tapping into before with these libraries, it's prescribed only for the vendors that are pre-qualified in the library. So once you are in the library, you are pre-qualified already. We have already vetted you with your experience and licenses and insurances and everything that you can possibly provide to us per the requirements of the initial RFQ that we would have sent out. And in those libraries, once we have a project that is up and it's within the dollar threshold that is set, we just send it to those vendors that are in the library. Now, some of the libraries, especially the architectural engineering library, they are even broken down into different subcategories. And so just because you are in the library, there are different subcategories, like I said, so we won't be advertising or sending those projects to you if you are not in the subcategory. Like, for instance, in the A&E library, we have subcategories for utilities, plumbing, and the different, all kind of plumbing and electrical, all those different subcategories we have within that library. So if we have a project that we need to get out there and get it done right away, we will only send emails just to those companies that are in the subcategory. So if you are listed in that library and you are under all the different subcategories, then you're great, because then you get an advertisement regardless. So it'll be even more beneficial for you with more trades that you can that you are expert at. So this is what we normally do within that library. We send out the request for letters of interest. We send it usually via email to the different vendors. Then we establish an evaluation team, and that team is normally comprised of evaluators that are in the city of Miramar that are experts in that particular job category that we need the help on. And these evaluators will take and go through the proposals that were submitted, and they would grade them based off of the qualifications that we had in the RLOI. And then they would together score and get the highest scoring evaluator. The highest scoring vendor. And so once we arrive, or they arrive at the highest scoring vendor, then we would call that vendor in for negotiations and go over the project with them, make sure that they have a thorough understanding of what is expected by the city and what is expected by them. And then we enter into an agreement. So it's a very quick process. So also under the libraries, we have a consultant evaluation form that's even quicker than the RLOIs. This is normally for projects and services that are under $75,000, usually mostly for the construction projects. So with this, if there's a project that say it's $20,000, $50,000, what the project manager would do is that project manager would go into the library and they would select 3 firms, up to 3 firms that are in the library or under the subcategory of that library. And then they would ask them to submit proposals that are tailored to the specifics of that job. And then that project manager would go over it. So it's almost like a mini RLOI process. And it's like less informal than the RLOI process, and it's quicker. And then he'll choose which one he wants that he feels is more beneficial for the job, and then it'd be signed off and ready to go. And so that's even a quicker process than the RLOI, like I said. And so basically that's all the libraries. And if you would like a listing of the libraries, also about the libraries, we will be updating those libraries and advertising new RLOIs to open up those libraries between now and December. So you will have an opportunity to be included in the library once those RFQs are advertised. We normally advertise these RFQs on demandstar.com. So please, if you're not registered with demandstar.com, it would be in your benefit to make sure that you're registered with them, because that's where the City of Miramar advertises all of their projects and subsequent updates to their projects. So please keep a lookout on DemandStar. Once you see that RFQ for architectural engineering library or an RFQ for a subcontractor library, you have at it. Then once you can get your proposal in, most likely you'll be slated for being in the library, and that will be your opportunity. If there are any other questions that you all have, there's my email, bamartin@miramarfl.gov, my phone number 954-602-3311. If there are no questions, thank you very much for your time.
Excellent, 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 Brenda. And most of those libraries have different term limits. Some are 3 years, some are 1 year. They have renewal terms. This is a wonderful opportunity that the City of Miramar, that's unique, I believe, to our city, to have more inclusion for those micros, those jack of trades. Remember, we're a city. We service all of our parks that need plumbing services, doors changed. It's a beautiful opportunity that's been developed by the city that I'm most proud of. And I wanted to ensure that people were made available with that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Brenda. And again, businesses, you heard the library will be opening again soon. Those libraries have a 3-year tenure. You only go through the solicitation once, and when you're in that library, any and all directors that are looking to procure for various trades, tools, skills, are using those types of libraries. Okay, when I do at the conclusion of every webinar where I send out a thank you notice for having attended the website, I always attach, here's how you get registered as a vendor. That is the tool that she was talking about so that you can be notified from the city when we're procuring in that particular area. Last but definitely not least, Mr. Paul Njoroge. He is on my team. Paul has been magnificent with all of the presentations. Thank you so much, Paul. And it's definitely last but not least because we allow him to be the last presenter because he's a member of the team, also because he's been doing all of the presentations so that he can adhere and assist everyone else before telling you a little bit more about BID. We start with BID, and like a sandwich you in, we want to conclude with some of the benefits of BID so that you end with BID on your mind. Without further ado, Paul, please let them know a little bit about our database.
Most definitely, Dr. K. Thank you guys for attending the webinar, and I hope that you found all this information enriching. Now, what is the BID contractor database? In simple, it's where we put a form online and we allow people like yourself who are listening to come in and enter your information. And what we do with that information is we update you of upcoming events such as this, where there's rich information, and also of opportunities. Dr. Kate can tell you that every week she receives at least an email or a phone call from a contractor saying, hey, I'm looking for subcontractors. Do you have a list of subcontractors that I can use? Do you have a list of people in different fields that we can use? And that's where this contractor database comes into play. She's able to share your information, and we're able to work with you so that you can get in front of those opportunities. So who can submit? You can submit. And anyone that has a company that is willing and able to do a job in their field. Why is this needed? Again, I don't want to go back to what Dr. Karen already spoke about. The core of BID is to enrich small businesses, and that's why we need this contractor database so that we can reach you and do our job to make sure that your opportunities and we enrich you in upcoming events and education, development, and growth. Other than that, you can reach me with the email below. My contact will be in the last page. We'll send you a link with the email of where to apply for the contractor database. And if you have any questions, you can either reach to Dr. Karen or I, and we'll be able to respond as soon as possible. Thank you.
Excellent, Paul. Thank you again for that presentation. And more importantly, on behalf of all of the wonderful experts on our panel, I would like to join them in thanking you for assisting us with the PowerPoint presentation this afternoon. And all of that information we'll continue to make available to you all. That concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much. We hope that we provided you with sufficient information so you can get your business fit and qualified and able and positioned and educate yourself and equip and get the tools, the resources, the insurance, the bonding, everything that you need to be successful. We have contact information for all of our panel members that will also be made available to you at the conclusion. When I send out that thank you for attending, you're going to get an introduction letter. You're going to get introduction notice to be able to become a registered vendor. You're going to get a connection to go on and become a member of our BIDFIT database, and you will get the wealth of information that was presented to you today. Since I do not see any questions waiting in the chat box, we are available. You have our contact information available at the conclusion of this. But for now, we are done. Thank you again. Please keep safe amid this pandemic. Please practice safe distancing, wear your mask, and understand that we will get through this. And the City of Miramar is open operating the Business Inclusion Program. We are here for you. We're continuing to work hard to position you to succeed and thrive, even in the midst of this pandemic. Thanks again to all of my panel members. I cannot thank you enough for your continued support and appreciation for this program and the businesses. And I thank you all again publicly, and I'll send you a more private thank you. That concludes the webinar for this afternoon. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.